It says, before him who sat upon the throne, the presence of earth and heaven fled away, and there was no place found for them. Now, there's a debate here with regard to scholars and the created order as it exists right now. And really, it's not much of a debate. Sometimes it's more semantics than it is anything. What will happen to this present created order? Some believe that it will be totally destroyed, and there will be another created order put in its place. Others, probably the majority of scholars, believe that the heavens and the earth will be burnt up to a degree, but from that flaming purging will come forth the new created order. But here's some things that I do want you to know that we absolutely know from Scripture. First of all, the present created order will pass away. That's Revelation 21:1, Matthew 24:35. The present created order will pass away and will never be remembered again or even come to mind. Isaiah 65:17. It will never come to mind. Now I want you to think about that, especially not just if you're here today and you don't know the Lord, but if you're a Christian. Think about how foolish it is to invest so much of your life in something that will not remain. I remember one time a student that was converted, and he was in business and all kinds of things, and people said, well, you're losing your life. What are you doing? You're throwing your life away. You're going to serve Jesus as a missionary or this or that. What are you doing? And they said, what about all your training? He said, well, it's my training that helped me come to this decision. And they said, how could training in finance help you come to this decision? He said, well, the one thing I learned in finance was that I needed to make good investments. And to invest in something that's not permanent is absolutely absurd, but to invest in the eternal. And what is eternal? God, you, and people. If you want to invest in something, that's the thing to invest in. Devotion to God and love for people, even those who hate you and want you imprisoned. Service. Service. Now, also we know that the sky will vanish like smoke and the earth will wear out like a garment, Isaiah 51:6. And like a garment they will be rolled up and changed, Hebrews 1:11-12. You think that's absolutely impossible? Nothing is impossible for God. He made it. He put it up. He can take it down. He can do anything He wants with it. He uses the order and laws and principles of creation as creation exists, but He is not subservient to them. He is transcendent over them. He can do whatever He wants at any time. You and I, our science, our mathematics, everything is subject to principle, subject to fixed rules, and we are bound by them. There are certain things that are possibilities and impossibilities, and although God has nothing to do with logical absurdities, He transcends our subjection to the norm. He can do whatever He wants, and He will. He will roll up this earth. Peter says this, "But the day of the Lord will come like a thief, in which the heavens will pass away with a roar, and the elements will be destroyed with intense heat, and the earth and its works will be burned up." The earth and its works will be burned up. Now that doesn't, for someone, I knew a young man that was really wrestling with the idea of God's sovereignty, and he had so many plans in his heart and so many things he wanted to do, and most of those plans were all about himself, the promotion of self. And as he's going through the Scriptures, he became so angry because he realized that everything he wanted to do was about himself, and everything he wanted to do was only temporary, and both himself and what he did would be burned up, and it made him so angry. And I was so pleased to see that anger. Why? Because at least he was dealing with reality. So many people accept some faith in God that demands nothing from them. where you can have your cake and eat it too, where you can go to heaven and have earth alongside as a dessert. Absolutely not. This young man was dealing with the fact, I've got to make a choice. Is it all about me or all about him? Is it all about this life or is it all about the next? Now, when I say that, don't walk out of here saying, well, he's one of those persons talking about, pie in the sky and live for heaven and do nothing on earth. I want you to know that that statement, if you make it, it literally contradicts everything we know about the last 2,000 years of Christian history. You go back and discover who put up the most universities on this planet. Christians. Who built the most hospitals on this planet? Christians. Who put the most orphanages? Christians. Who fed the most poor? Christians. Because when you're heavenly minded, when you believe there is a God, when you believe there is a God that made all mankind and therefore mankind has dignity and should not be slaughtered in the womb, when you believe there is a God that will judge the living and the dead, you live a different way. Now you say, well, I know a bunch of people who claim to believe that, but they don't live a different way. There's your key. They claim it. Claiming it means nothing. Even Jesus said, many on that day will say, Lord, Lord, and I'll say, depart from me, I never knew you. The validation of the Christian faith is not the words of our mouth. It's the actions. It's the things we do. It's the fruit that we bear.